coming to you raw and unscripted. Beaming across Ontario and beyond to places like Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Newcastle. This is the Real Hickson Real Estate Podcast. Whether you're listening on your commute or putting on your suit, whether it's your morning stroll or you're on patrol, you just finished prayer or dropped the kids at daycare, you're in the bar, your car, or listening with the bathroom door ajar, near or far, this is the Jess and Giro Show. We're grateful for flattery and prone to inaccuracies. This is your guide to Toronto culture, people, events, news, but most importantly, real estate talk. Yes, hello, and Happy New Year for 2024, Jess.
Happy New Year. It's getting to the point where you can't say that any longer. But
can I no longer say that?
Yeah.
What's the cutoff?
I think like the 15th of January.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, but
we haven't spoken to anybody in a while.
But, I mean, I still have the Christmas lights up outside.
Yeah, but that's...
which is fun. I like that.
That's due to true laziness.
But no, I just kind of like the vibe still.
Okay.
Guys, just so you're aware, the Christmas tree is well and truly down. That's a 1st of January thing in my belief system. But the Christmas lights is nice.
Okay. You know, why not?
Why not? Well, I don't know if you noticed, Jess, but those towns that I was shouting out earlier in the intro,
they don't sound so
They
Ontario.
are all Ontario, believe it or not. Now, why am I saying these Australian towns? Well, today just happens to be Australia Day.
Happy Australia Day.
Which I've been happy to remind you at every moment of the day.
Yes.
And
but it's Australia Day in Australia, not necessarily
well, not
today.
anymore. No, it's actually the date is today, yes.
The 26th.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. I had the call with the family yesterday because they had their lunch. You know, it's like a little flipped.
Okay.
It's a little flipped.
Okay.
Last night, it was Australia Day morning.
Yes.
For them.
Got it.
Yeah. But we have some fun, exciting plans with the expats this afternoon, this evening, to embrace my heritage and try and convert you to an Australian, maybe? You like spiders, Jess?
Nope.
Well, in Australia, we actually walk them as pets. We ride kangaroos to school. It's a very eco-friendly transportation system for the kids. Mm-hmm. Pop all the little kids in the pouches, send them off to school. And what else?
I wish that were true, like, so badly.
It almost is. It almost is. Kangaroos do jump down the highways, you know, which isn't great because, you know, there's trucks
Danger.
on the highways. They do jump down some of the streets in some of the towns for sure.
Yeah.
And one time in Sydney, I don't know if you're all familiar with the Harbour Bridge, pretty iconic, but there's a zoo right near the Harbour Bridge. It's beautiful views, by the way. Taronga Zoo, and a kangaroo escaped and was spotted hopping across the Harbour Bridge.
The most Australian
thing. You can look it up. It's there. Go and Google it right now. Actually, no, don't pause this podcast. A lot of fun information. But in the meantime, get your Vegemite out. Get your fairy bread. Hang out with your crocodile mates.
If you need to Google these things after, that's fine.
Yes.
You will be surprised to know.
You need to know. You get a frothy in your hand, a stubby, a VB or something equivalent, and watch the cricket, watch the footy, mate.
There's just nothing.
Go to the beach, hang out with the blue bottles and the stingrays, and that's it, mate. That's all I can tell you.
Hang 10.
Hang 10's more like California.
Oh, okay.
But like we're pretty much like in Sydney, we're pretty much like California meets Europe. So
right.
very, very similar vibes.
Okay, well, we are like waiting for the sun patiently to come out here, so
it's a little differently. I thought that I had called it in.
Yeah, it did show its face for a minute, to be fair, but not long enough.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll make do, and I think, you know what? That's the Australian spirit. Is not just making do, but making the best of what you got, Jess.
Fair dinkum.
Fair dinkum, mate. No worries. So
again, if you need to Google anything after this.
In fact, we did. If you go onto the TikTok and you can scroll for 10 minutes, I think you'll find we did a whole bunch of videos with Australian slang.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
And I did pretty well.
I think you did it, and you were very blonde back then too.
It's true.
maybe we can reblonde you for the summer. Because you miss it too, right?
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
We're not getting into that. Anyways, yes, happy Australia Day, happy New Year. What is the topic for today? It's actually sounds like a very Australian word, FOOP versus FOMO. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, these are the acronyms that you may hear more recently than not. FOOP, fear of overpaying, versus FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And it's a whole new thing in Toronto, especially GTA-wide for sure. And even in, during the pandemic in some of these weirder markets, we were seeing it in cottage country and rural Ontario and beyond. Mm-hmm. But we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So Jess, what is the market doing right now?
That's a very big question.
It's a very interesting market.
Yeah. There's a lot more activity than there was at the end of 2023.
Yes.
There's definitely more buyers jumping off the fence.
Yes. I was trying to think of a really nice metaphor before starting this podcast. I ended up with FOOP versus FOMO, which is very true. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of like a tug of war or like a spinning top, but that's not quite right either. Basically, what we're seeing is less listings than before the holidays.
Yeah.
And increased buyers. But
there are some bidding wars.
Yes.
With the multiple buyers, but the buyers do not have the buying power that they once had before.
No. So yes, we've seen definitely a spike in activity, which is to be expected in the new year, especially as we get closer to spring. However, it may just be a little bit artificial because we don't have the same amount of listings. But as all the weeks go, we are having more listings coming out. Mm-hmm. And but importantly, Jess, yes, we have homes with multiple offers, some with just a couple. It really depends on the area.
Mm-hmm. What it's priced at.
What it's priced at, because we're back to the offer presentations again. So, something that wants 1.5, they might even list at, 999, for example.
Yeah.
And, you're obviously going to get a lot more offers then, but the quality of the offers is going to be less.
Yeah. Things are not going as drastically. Maybe they're going over per list price, but they're not going over market value.
Yeah, I think buyers, especially if they've been paying attention to the news or if they joined in themselves in markets like February 2020 that I always like to refer to, which was the peak.
February 2022.
Sorry, yeah, what did I say?
February 2020.
Oh, sorry,
That was pre-pandemic.
That was pre-pandemic. But even at the end of 2020, like
2022.
Yeah, no. Even at the end of 2020, we had a really big fall market, and that pushed all the way through the holidays into the spring market, and that was what was crazy for 2021. But all these similar kinds of markets, and I think buyers are a lot more savvy. They're a lot more custom, but most of all, they're going to their mortgage brokers, they're going to their lenders, and they're crunching the numbers. And with the interest rates still being high, historically high, they're really finding that as you said, there's much less buying power.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. They could want to pay over market value, but they're not being approved for that type of money. Exactly. And appraisals are not coming in at
So that's the other important thing.
Prices.
So if you're not aware of what appraisals are, let's say a home, is worth 1.2. Well, if you go crazy, you fall in love, and somehow you pay 1.5, if you need a mortgage and the bank or the lender goes to check out that house, whether they do it online using a system or whether they go to inspect it themselves, because sometimes it can be a little difficult to appraise online, they may say, this house is not worth as much as you paid for it, and we can't give you that whole mortgage.
Yeah, and then they're on the hook for the difference.
You have to come up with the difference. Now, not to scare anyone, I mean, this doesn't happen too often. And I think buyers and buyer agents are quite savvy as to the real prices of things. And I think this is the whole point, right? Is that we've lived through some of these crazier markets, and I think a lot of buyers have learned.
That's where the fear of overpaying is coming in.
And this is where we're not only seeing the FOMO anymore, which it will still be a factor, but we're also seeing the FOOP. And I just think people aren't going, you know what? They're just like, I'm just going to put down a number that I'm comfortable with, and that's it. If I don't get the house, it's okay.
Yeah. What ends up happening in a lot of these situations is once a buyer has lost a house 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, that's when people start going a little bit.
Yeah.
Desperation kicks in. If we don't get this house, we're never going to get a house. And then the numbers start getting a little bit inflated.
Yeah. I mean, so we're at the beginning of this process, aren't we?
Yeah.
And it will always stay like this. Okay, so, generally speaking, because the markets have been very mixed over the last, year or at least 6 months. But generally speaking, we're seeing some quite low prices compared to what we've seen. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we are at the start of that process. Some people are smart. They're jumping in a little bit early. But what eventually happens is everyone has the same idea and the interest rates are falling and they all start to, then we start to push on that FOMO factor.
Yeah.
Oh man, that house got this many offers. And then as you're saying, like in the middle of this whole process, you start to get like buyer fatigue, as you're saying, right?
Yes. Oh, there's just a puppy drinking water. If
you Do you guys hear that?
In the background.
I really hope the microphone picks up all of these organic elements. Just Alfie living his life in the background.
He's still drinking.
Conehead.
Yeah, poor Alfie had a little surgery this week, so
he got the change of dog's life. Change of life for puppies, 7-month-old puppies.
We're just dealing with that over here.
Yeah, but he's recovering.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Nothing serious, guys. In case you're fretting at home, I know some people might get the anxiety.
People only listen only for Alfie updates.
I feel like they do. I feel like us talking is just the conduit to hearing Alfie walking around in the background and making fun of
seeing what he's up to.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you.
Not to make it cryptic, but he just got fixed this week. And he's recovering very well.
He got fixed for a positive spring.
Positive spring. So we don't end up with any unwanted puppies.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But what were we talking about, Jess? We were talking about the process of, at the beginning of hot markets, people will do it. And to be honest,
things change very quickly as the weeks go by. If there isn't more listings, then it will change things. But we always know that as we get into warmer weather, the listings start to come onto the market.
Yeah, and I mean, depending on the home, depending on the area, the smart thing, if you were to buy, and I've been telling people to look into buying if you're going to make a move, kind of the end of last year and around now, because what ends up happening is if a place sells that you're interested in, it may start to push up prices in that area, mm-hmm. and the next house maybe sells for a little bit more, and this can be week to week to week.
Yeah, we could come back here in 3 weeks and say
mm-hmm.
things have mm-hmm. gone crazy, or they stayed the same without a new interest rate announcement until the beginning of March.
Mm-hmm.
That may hold things.
Yeah, I mean, we could see longer closings.
Yeah,
because in 2 to 3, 2 months being a typical close, in 3 months, if you were to do a 3-month close, you'd be looking at a very different interest rate to where we're at now, even by a little bit.
Very different.
That's even
call.
Yeah, but even the fixed rates could be dropping a lot by then.
Let's assume it's going to be a slow and steady decline.
Well, that's the plan from the BOC anyways.
Yes.
But yeah, as I said, I think it's going to look a little differently this year because the buyers have smartened up a little bit. And to finish the idea of this process is I talked about the beginning, the middle, where buyers start to get fatigued. But also I feel like the buyers start to create they kind of rise up, They really, the prices may be increasing and we hit a ceiling, I feel like. Mm-hmm. We hit like a point of resistance.
Yeah, of course.
And it's probably to do with the purchasing power.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the bank only allows for a certain amount of money.
But then some sellers start to get a little too greedy and start to push the boundaries. And that's when buyers start to push back a little bit. So
yeah, nobody wants that. Everybody's happy with a balanced market, I think.
Yes. I think a bit of activity in the market, keep it balanced, not too lopsided for one or the other.
Yeah.
And keeping it going. I mean, a little bit hotter than balanced is probably okay too, because it means that people trying to buy can also sell and vice versa. I mean, that's the other thing is people may sell in a hot market, and if it's too hot, now they have less options. It's much more competitive. The house they're trying to buy, they might not get exactly what they want. They're happy with the sale price of their home, but
then their
and you're really always buying and selling in the same market.
Yeah,
right.
In that case.
But anyways, we will see what happens, and I think you can go back to our last podcast, which is the end of last year, and we had some bold predictions, Jess.
Did we?
Bold as heck.
I thought we were just being positive.
It was very positive, and I think there's a lot of positive things to come, still to come, and I think this is going to be an improved year compared to the last maybe couple of years.
Yeah, so far it's starting off on a good start. And,
yeah.
And people are having a little bit more confidence in the market, which is nice to see.
I mean, check it out. It's like, what is it, 5 degrees? It's like practically summer here right now today.
Yeah. We
beautiful. I'm going to be out in my shorts and thongs.
What are those?
Well, you can't. Yeah, well, if you're not familiar, thongs in Australia is very different to thongs in North America.
That gave people a fright for sure. They just pictured something they did not want to picture.
Well, you can't picture me in a tight t-shirt and a thong.
Oh my goodness!
Come on.
If you need to turn off the podcast now, that's totally fair.
Is this going to get flagged for expletives?
Yeah, it might. I
this
think
we just pushed
a
19 plus. What is the expletive? Is it 19 plus in this country?
NC-17.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
Like flip-flops. That's what he's talking about.
Flip-flops. That's when I say thongs, that's what I mean. Flip-flops on your feet.
Your feet will still freeze though, just to be clear.
Yeah, but they're just so easy. You just chuck them on. Hey, you're lucky if you even get footwear on our feet.
I know.
Especially in the beach towns. We're just walking around barefoot. Fantastic for grounding. Fantastic for toughening up your feet and getting potential glass in your foot, which is not great.
Yeah.
Part and parcel of the lifestyle.
I wouldn't recommend to walk around barefoot anywhere in the city of Toronto.
I have a question though, and please hit me up on all the socials, Instagram, @Hickson Real Estate, email me, whatever. Tell me, what's more scary to you, the thought of it? Finding a reasonable sized spider in the corner of a room of your house that's probably not gonna kill you. It's just gonna scare you and annoy you. Or seeing someone barefoot in the supermarket.
Ooh, in the middle of January.
Yeah, but January in Australia is very hot, so it makes more sense.
Yeah, but January in Canada is not.
No, I wouldn't do it in Canada.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
This is back.
Oh, okay.
But like, what's more scary to you? What do you think?
Spiders in my own house?
Yeah.
That's worse for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the person with the dirty feet, like.
What about a husband that has barefoot?
Oh no, you're not.
Like I like it's either the spider in your house or I'm the husband.
No, you're.
I went through a whole like Loblaws or no frills or something barefoot.
Absolutely not. You're not allowed in the house. No, you can wash your feet outside.
Okay, good to know. Please, I want more feedback. I need some feedback. I was going to mention at the end, but like plenty of people. Week in and week out tell me that they love listening to the podcast, and it's just really nice to hear people are out there listening. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Keep up the positive feedback.
Keep up the positivity.
Just so we do this, we need some admiration to continue.
Me too. We need you to fill our ego to keep going.
Keep doing.
Okay, so getting back to the new stuff. Okay, so we just had an interest rate announcement, which was that they're holding.
Yes,
which we
was
predicted.
Expected, yes.
It was expected. It's a bit of a no-brainer. There was a slight chance that they might start to cut, but realistically, they're holding. We did see some new economic data coming out, which is playing a very big role these days. Have you ever been so interested or involved in learning about the economy in all the years?
No, honestly, no.
No, this inflation, did anyone even care before?
No, because things were so
stabilized.
Stable
kind of. Yeah. There was some spikes and stuff like that. Maybe 2008, there was probably some inflation. Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, hovering between the 2 and the 3 didn't make much of a difference. Even interest rates.
Yeah, they didn't change.
Yeah, we heard it. We knew about them. We checked on them, and they went up and down a little bit here and there. But for the most part, it was it was pretty stable. Stable.
Yeah.
And maybe boring is good in that regard.
Definitely. Let's get back to boring.
So when we talk about the interest rates holding, what we do mean, just to reiterate, is the variable rate. Anyone on a variable rate will completely mirror and match the BOC overnight rate, as they call it. However, as I've been saying in the last couple of podcast episodes, the fixed rates are dropping. Fixed rates are dropping. In fact, well, they have been dropping. They're kind of holding right now.
Yeah.
With the economic data that came out, basically talking about the unemployment went up a little bit, and the inflation.
And those rates don't rely on the rate announcement.
Yes, exactly.
It's more like a week to week.
They're kind of indexed to the actual fixed rates, and the banks and the lenders, they will change. And I think every couple of weeks maybe they'll come up with a new rate.
Yeah.
Whether it goes up or down. Of course, they have competition between themselves, etc., etc. But yeah, interesting there. And of course, the data that we saw is a little bit materialistic, just because it was like seasonal. It was the holidays, so obviously
people are spending more money.
People are spending,
going out, buying gifts.
Yeah, what's it called? Blue Monday in January, where everyone gets their credit card.
I think it's this Monday.
Is this Monday coming up?
I think so, or maybe it was last Monday.
It's probably last Monday. I don't think there's many Mondays left in the month.
That's true. That's the last Monday of the month.
But
so hopefully you're not too blue.
Hopefully not too blue. But the next rate announcement is March 10th, I believe. Mm-hmm. And a large sentiment of people expecting a little bitty rate cut.
Yeah, don't expect drastic, but...
Could be a hold. I reckon it's like probably 50-50 at this point.
It will depend on what happens in the next 6 weeks.
I think so, because the next numbers are going to be more realistic and more accurate.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that materialistic seasonal kind of stats, to influence those numbers.
Yeah. But seems so far so good.
So far so good. Staying positive. I'm very cheery for Australia Day, even though it doesn't feel weather-wise like Australia.
But
it's okay.
Your parents said it was like 36 degrees yesterday.
There are heat waves over there. I don't want that either.
That's too hot for me.
I don't want that. And especially, people have to realize that, we don't have central air conditioning and all that kind of stuff like they do in North America.
Yeah, when it's hot, it's very hot.
Yeah, everyone has little fans,
like
little
fans.
wall AC units.
Yeah.
Some people have full AC units, of course, and shops and stuff, office buildings, whatever. But, the odd average Australian might not have a whole complex system.
And it's very warm.
Very, very warm. But of course, most of us live around the edge of the ocean. We just go for a dip. That's what we do. Go swim with Roger the shark and Billy the octopus and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, Jess, enough about Australia. I think I'm done. I think I've exhausted all the
The homesick is really showing.
It is. It is 9 years, I think it is. Anyways, so what I wanted to say was this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode. We're going to wrap it up pretty soon.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. And I think that's what a good segue to what can you expect from the Hickson Real Estate, The Real podcast, Jessica?
I think we're going to try to do more episodes, maybe a little bit shorter.
Yes, I think so.
Just try to get our voice out there more often.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know what to have a conversation about.
Sometimes we're busy, and I should try to endeavor to just get this done. I'd like to do it once or twice a month. It's just a saying, it's really depending on the news, and sometimes it takes a good month for the market to shift.
To get a real idea of what's going on.
Sometimes it's weeks.
We'll just come in, check in, see how everyone's feeling, and try to speak more regularly.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to revisit concepts as they come up. I'm really happy to revisit things. First-time home buyer stuff, investor stuff, downsizing, rentals. Oh, I did forget to mention the rental market. The rental market's actually favoring tenants these days. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a holiday thing, like for sure. That always happens. But I don't know if it's going to sustain.
So people don't love to move in the middle of winter. That's just
true.
That's pretty typical.
True.
January, February, March.
Yep. I am seeing an uptick in people making smart moves, which I'm always recommending in my newsletters, for example, which is to try, if you're renting, you're single, try and find a friend, a family member to get a 2-bedroom with. Mm-hmm. It's just really going to save you money in the long run.
Yep.
I know you're sacrificing a little bit of space, independence, I get it. But if you're able to pull it off, it's never going to be forever. But I think it's a smart move to just save some money in the long run.
Yeah.
And work towards the goal of getting your first home.
Yeah.
You know, and whether that's in Toronto, further out of Toronto, it doesn't matter as long as you get your foot in the door. That's what we're always saying. But of course, you can, you know, without going into it too much, you can go back. We have a couple of episodes at least, first time home buyer specials. But yeah, we love doing this. We love throwing the concepts around and demystifying the real estate market, Jessica.
Yeah, and if anyone has anything they want to ask or they want to hear about, like, definitely shoot us a DM and see
what we did some life planning, some goal planning, didn't we, Jess? And everyone should do that. Should plan your goals, maybe life goals, business goals. And my goal this year is to get more interaction from our listeners. As I said before, it's really nice to hear from you. We really appreciate people from near, very far sometimes. Over in BC, we have some listeners. Some people around the world, maybe, according to my statistics.
International.
In different countries. We want to hear from you. Tell us what's happening in your city, maybe, if you are international.
Yeah.
But never be afraid to ask us questions. As I said, at Hickson Real Estate on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn even, you can reach out there. We have hicksonrealestateteam@gmail.com as an email address, hicksonrealestateteam@gmail.com. Hit us up there too. We want to hear from you, and we can use your questions, and we'll maybe do a little question session at the end of each episode. A Q&A. That's cute, isn't it?
Very.
And yeah, we love to continue helping everyone, and you'll hear more from us this year, and we love to hear more from you this year.
Thanks for listening.
And as we said again, thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to do some exciting episodes.
Have a great weekend.
With more sound effects and more royalty-free songs, Jess. Whatever I can get in there.
Yeah, maybe some homemade, what's the word? Originals.
Yeah, like Fox, like samples and stuff like that.
Original
special. Open the episode with like Alfie scampering down the floors.
Oh my goodness.
Down the stairs or something. That'd be cute. Maybe him slopping from the
water bowl. Oh my goodness.
Okay, guys.
This has gone for too long.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Australia Day.
Have a great weekend.
Say good day for me to your friends, and we'll speak to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.